We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Larry. Larry's thought about it, and he prefers the idea of spending as little as possible right now on a decent 1080p projector so that he can save up that much quicker for a future 4K HDR. We suggested the BenQ HT2050, but Larry is in Canada, and he's able to find better prices on Epson models. In particular, Epson Canada is selling directly selling refurbished 8350 units for only $625. So that's about $300 less than the HT2050, but it's an old model at this point and refurbished. So what do we think?
Snap it up.
I would take it. See if they'll throw in an extra bulb for you, because sometimes they'll do that.
I kind of doubt it at that price, to be honest. But,
I would at least call when I if it says contact us, 800-807-7766. I would call them and say, listen, how many bulbs does it come with? Can I get an extra bulb? Can you give me an extra bulb? The bulb is brand new.
Yeah, if it's coming with a new bulb anyway, then that's fine.
Yeah. I would take that, Larry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you want to get super nitty-gritty, yes, the HT2050 has slightly more accurate color, but no, the 8350 was a very nice projector. It remains a very nice projector, and at that price, snap it up.
Yeah. So while Larry will be sitting in his front row and he doesn't care that much about his back row, he still wants the back row to at least have a decent viewing experience. We suggested mounting the projector closer to his 106-inch screen than he had initially thought, 10.5 to 11.5 feet from lens to screen. This will mean the projector is entirely in front of the second row, so he doesn't want the projector hanging so low that it'll be within the back row's line of sight. Is there an easy method or an online calculator somewhere for figuring out if a projector hanging from a ceiling will be distracting anybody's view?
So before we answer that, because I still want to answer that, but before we do, good news is if you go with the 8350, it can be farther away. And any of the HDR projectors that you might be getting in the future can also be farther away. The reason you had to be closer was because the BenQ HT2050 has quite a short throw lens. That was the reason you had to be closer if you wanted something that would work for either or. Now that you're going to go with the 8350 instead, you can go back to I think he wanted 14 feet originally.
Right.
Now you can do that. That will be absolutely no problem. So that specifically for Larry, that answers that. But then, let's do his actual question. It still applies for people.
I'm sure it's on Projector Central, right? I mean, where else would that look? But
I mean, not so much for this, because this is saying, like, if I'm in a back row and there's a projector that's actually in front of me, then how low can it be before it enters my field of view and blocks some of the top of the screen?
Well, okay,
right?
Let's be honest here. If it's usually they're not hanging that much lower than the top edge of the screen to begin with, right?
If you're ceiling mounting it, yeah.
If you're ceiling mounting,
typically it's even with the top edge of the screen or slightly above it.
That's right.
That's normal. No.
Let's say you're on a 6-inch riser, which I think is a fairly reasonable size riser to be on if you're in the second row. So now instead of sitting with your head about 3.5 feet off the ground, maybe 4 feet off the ground, you're now 4.5 to 5 feet off the ground. Your projector is hanging down somewhere around maybe a foot. Right? Does that sound reasonable?
Yep.
So I don't see how it could block your field of view without you being like 10 feet behind the dang thing, to be honest with you. I mean, reasonably. Now, will you see the projector? Yes. Will you see any light coming off of the projector onto the ceiling? Yes. Okay. Many projectors, I don't know if this one will, but many projectors do have the ability to turn off all the lights that are on it. Like, you can dim the
like the little indicator
lights that says it's on, a little blue light that everything has to have these days. You can turn that off. But there will still be light leakage from the bulb, and you will see it. Will it distract you?
Through the vents and stuff, there's usually some light that leaks out.
Right. Will it distract you? They're in the second row, dude. Who cares? You're not sitting there. But they will not be in their field of view. I just don't see how it can be from anywhere within your room.
Yeah, I mean, to figure this out, I don't know. Maybe there is somebody who set up an online calculator or something for this, but I don't know of it. You kind of have to, with most projectors, to figure out the lens offset or the range of their vertical lens shift, you pretty much have to read the manual. A lot of times they do give you that range as a percentage of the screen's height, which can be a somewhat annoying and difficult way to figure things out, but you can muddle your way through it and figure out how high above the top edge of the screen the projector can be. It'll have some lens offset or a vertical lens shift range. That now you know how low the projector is, then maybe you even just want to draw this because that might be the easiest, but you figure out how high you're going to be in the second row, how low the projector is going to be. You draw your line from the people's eyes to the top of the screen and see if that intersects the projector. Because as long as that line does not intersect the projector, then it's out of your direct field of view to the screen. It'll still be within your entire field of view.
Office Depot for graph paper.
That's right.
You can print graph paper online. I did that for my kid the other day. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.